Welcome back to Studio Chatter. Have you heard of the new restaurant with a gourmet grill? Welcome Jason Lawson, the owner of Maple Mountain Bar and Gourmet Grill, to the table. Welcome.
Hi, Jason.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Well, we're so excited for you.
Thank you.
A new gourmet grill, and bar in town, a place to go sit down, grab a steak, grab friends.
So you're saying we have steak in Spanish Fork now?
That's the rumor.
Is it a mediocre steak? Is it a good steak?
We buy the highest quality steak we can get in Utah. So it all comes from the Wasatch Meat Company, which is our Utah's largest ranch. So all of their cows are free range, grass fed, no hormones. So they're a very respectable ranch, and they have the highest quality meat we can possibly get. So.
Oh, this sounds like heaven. Should we go over after?
Yes, I think we should.
Wow. And I need to add that this segment is mayor approved.
Yes.
He's already been in.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So the mayor is a friend of the family, so he was able to come in a couple weeks ago. We didn't have the steak on the menu yet. We were just introducing some of our house burger, which is also from the same ranch. And we do feature a half-pound house burger with your choice of cheeses and all the fresh condiments and everything, and the mayor loved it. So.
Okay.
That sounds delicious.
Let's go back to the steak now. I don't think any of us have eaten dinner yet, so this is a perfect little segment.
Excellent.
What else goes with the steak? Do you do the salad, a sweet potato?
So we just opened 2 weeks ago today. So I just started with what we call an opening menu. Make sure that my cooks and make sure the kitchen and everything is operating smoothly. So we have a filet mignon that is featured, and it's very similar to the one that they serve up at the Sundance Tree Room. If you've ever been up there, they call it their pepper steak. It's actually been their number one seller for 50 years. So, and me and my wife have been eating there for 27 years. But I always said if I ever had a restaurant, this is going on my menu.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So it's a mashed potatoes in the middle of the plate, and then we layer it with a butter spinach, and then it's a peppercorn crusted filet that's 4 inches thick that you can cut with a plastic fork. It just literally melts in your mouth. And then we do a cognac flambéed mango chutney sauce that we drizzle over the top of it.
You're not even serious.
It is, and when the mango chutney sauce, when it combines with the peppercorn, with the steak, the spinach, the mashed potatoes, it is a combination that everybody loves. So.
Are you a chef?
So I am a self-acclaimed chef. I'm a middle child of 10 children, and every summer my mom would take one of us, and we were her assistant in the kitchen, and she made everything from scratch. And then not only was there 10 kids and my mom and dad, but we always had missionaries, and we always had neighbor friends over, and so we were always cooking for 16 to 18 people. So I grew up cooking with the family. So and then since my wife is actually a native Hawaiian girl from the Big Island of Hawaii. So we do a lot of luau's. We've always done a lot of cooking for family and friends, but I've never made money doing it.
So now you're looking to change that a little bit.
Exactly. It's been the joke of all my friends. We knew eventually you'd start charging us. So.
Super interesting. So what really prompted you to kind of take this on and open a business and open doors and start serving?
I grew up as a kid in Illinois, south of Chicago, and then we moved to Los Angeles for high school, and then I actually moved here in '91 for college to go to the Utah Valley University. I got my degree in business, but you have to choose an emphasis. So I chose hospitality, with always kind of wanting to have my own little bar and grill and my own little restaurant. But I immediately got pulled into big corporate sales and marketing and building call centers here in Utah. So for 25 years, I built call centers in Utah County and Salt Lake County, working for a lot of big groups here. And then 2 years ago, I retired, and I had enough of corporate America. I burned all my suits and ties. I swore to never go back. And then me and my wife, and I have an 18-year-old son that moved on into his own house, and then I took my 2 teenage daughters, and we traveled for the last 2 years. So we spent a year in the Caribbean island hopping, and then we spent a year in a motorhome from Mexico to Canada, hitting every national park in the western U.S. And then we came back just this last winter, and we're all big snowboarders. We love the mountains, and so we've always been going to Sundance for snowboarding. So me and my wife and our 3 kids, we snowboarded all winter, and then after the winter season was over, my wife and 2 kids, where are we going to go now? Let's go travel. And they're like, no, Dad, we're sick of you, actually. From the little grass shack in the Caribbean to being stuck with me in a motorhome, they said, we need a break.
Enough was enough.
Exactly. So my 2 teenage daughters that are 12 and 13, going on 18 and 21, don't want to hang out with Dad anymore.
Oh, strange how that happens.
Bummer, right? So, and then it was called the Tipsy Cow Saloon here in Spanish Fork. And the guy that owns his name's Phil Henderson. And we had a lot of mutual friends. And I knew who he was and he knew who I was, but we had never really, ever had much conversation. We knew and I had never actually been in down here because we always would go to Sundance for food and drinks.
Okay.
So he called me up and he's like, hey, Jason, I've been here for 3 years and I'm just not cutting it anymore, and I really just want to change things for the better. And he's all, and I've heard a lot of good things about you and some things that you've done in the past, and I wonder if you could come down and talk to me about it. So I came down and I saw the place and I was like, wow, a lot of work. So if you've ever been there, it's a log cabin.
Honestly.
So it was built 35 years ago as an Eagles VFW, like a veterans bar.
Oh, okay.
But shortly after that, it went out of business, and then for the last 35 years, it's kind of been like a dive bar.
Okay.
So it's not had the best reputation, lots of fights, lots of...
I think I have heard that.
riffraff going there. Spanish Fork PD, Utah Highway Patrol, and Utah County Sheriff's Department all
Are very familiar with
the
this
place.
place. Okay.
From fights to drinking and driving and trouble for a lot of years. So I just, have you ever seen the movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze?
Oh, a long time ago.
Yeah, that's how I felt walking into this place. Like, what have I got myself into? So I just looked at him and I was like, I don't know, this is like a lot of work. But I love the log cabin because we love Sundance, and one of my favorite restaurants growing up was Carver's. If you remember the old Carver's steakhouses with a log cabin. I think there's still the one in Salt Lake, actually. We used to have one in Orem, but it's like a store now. So I said, you know what, it's going to be a lot of work to change the persona of this place, because it's always been a dive bar that even my family wouldn't come to, much less a lot of the people around here. But the potential, I just said potential. So the next day I came back, we signed a deal to be 50-50 partners, and the rest is history, 7 weeks in. So
this is just like in its infancy for you.
Yes,
really.
7 weeks ago I bought in as the new partner. So
and now you're on StudioChatter.
I know.
Wow.
I'm already famous. It's only been 7 weeks.
I'm so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that you've set the tone, because that
agree.
being said, I think that's like
People will go
so
check it out.
important. Yeah, so important for the marketing, because now I think you've set the precedence. Oops, pardon me. I think now. That you're here in Utah County, I think that now that you kind of set the precedence for that, I think that's going to open many, many doors, and really people that may have shied away from it before and say, really, maybe it's a bar, that's kind of scary, I might not go there. Fine dining, you're going to go in there, and I think you're going to have fabulous business.
And a lot of people had questioned me about putting the word gourmet into my name. And I did it really for two primary reasons. Number one is I really wanted to emphasize the grill, emphasize restaurant, emphasize food, so that the community knew this wasn't just a bar anymore, it's now a legitimate restaurant.
Okay.
And then the second reason is I want the community to hold me to that standard.
I like that.
Everybody asked me, well, Jason, what's your definition of gourmet? And I said, well, number one is buying the highest quality food we can get. If we buy the highest quality meat and we bring in the best seasonal vegetables and we buy it from all of our local community vendors and we keep everything local, and then we just cook it right with a little salt and pepper, serve it warm, don't use freezers, don't use microwaves, to me that's the definition of gourmet. So it doesn't have to be hoity-toity fancy. It doesn't have to, just a good steak, a good potato, a good vegetable, a nice garden salad, and that's all we need.
Well, you're going to draw them in.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this
Love that.
was
I'm
fun
just
to hear about.
yes, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so excited to visit. We wish you well, and can't wait to
the
try
location.
it.
You're just right across the street from the
Right across the street from the
Airport.
airport. So 2000 North, 300 West. So right now we're just open. The steakhouse is open from 4 p.m. to 10:30.
Okay.
And then we do have a bar there that's open from till 2 a.m. Serving alcohol till 1 a.m.
Okay.
So we are looking, as soon as I get lunch running or dinner running really smooth and everything's operating, we then will want to open for lunch at 11 a.m.
Good to know.
And then as soon as lunch is running smooth, and then we want to open for breakfast.
Oh,
So
you
we want
ambitious soul.
I know. So our goal is, one of the reasons we always would go up to the Sundance Resort to eat and drink is because, number one, it's always open. So my goal is to be open 365 days a year from 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. serving food and drinks, so that the community will always know that we're open,
have somewhere to
we're
go.
available, they have somewhere to go. If you want food, if you want to drink, we have everything. So that's our goal.
Thank you for
luck.
coming.
Yes.
Good luck.
And see you soon.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you.
There's more Studio Chatter coming right up.